Most large wild animals roam across territories that can extend for miles, and others swim around the world in search of their desired prey. This is why many of us feel uncomfortable seeing animals in captivity. Thankfully, over the years, bans have been put in place to stop zoos from keeping certain animals in captivity. Of course, keeping animals in captivity is essential for the survival of some species, as some creatures are only clinging on because of captive breeding projects. Even though some zoos and aquariums have tried multiple times in the past, there are certain animals that are impossible to keep in captivity. Certain animals have evolved to suit different ecosystems and have adapted to different climates and ways of life. It's impossible for us to recreate some of these conditions in captivity. In today's video, we'll be going through 9 animals that are impossible to keep in captivity and how attempts to keep them have ultimately failed. The great white shark is one of the most formidable marine predators on the planet. They're capable of targeting animals as large as elephant seals. Unless you're an adrenaline junkie or a very brave diver, you'll likely never get to see this animal swimming in the wild. This is why a few different aquariums have attempted to keep this giant fish in the past. But so far, it's always ended in tragedy. To get an idea as to why they suffer in aquariums, all you have to do is look into their lifestyle. A great white's life is in constant motion. To be able to breathe, the great white needs to be constantly moving. This becomes extremely stressful in the confines of even the largest aquarium. Great whites also migrate great distances to find new feeding grounds. There is no way to replicate this in captivity. Back in 2016, a 3.5-meter shark only lasted 3 days in Okinawa Aquarium. The Monterey Bay Aquarium first attempted to keep great whites back in 1984. This only lasted 11 days as the shark refused to eat and starved. Later on, between 2004 and 2011, 6 sharks were exhibited. One remained in captivity for a record 198 days before being released. Thankfully, since 2011, the aquarium has not attempted to house any more great whites. These formidable predators should remain in the wild. Humans have been keeping gorillas in captivity for over 100 years. But if you look closely at these animals, you'll notice something interesting. None of the many gorillas kept in captivity are mountain gorillas. Past attempts have proven that it's impossible to keep them alive for long. There are only an estimated 1,063 remaining in the wild. Back in the 60s and 70s, there were multiple attempts to capture mountain gorillas to create a captive breeding population. This often involved killing adults to take their young. In every single case, these young gorillas didn't last long at all. This is rather strange, as other gorillas do relatively well in captivity. It's been suggested that mountain gorillas have a much more specialized diet in the wild. This diet can't be replicated in captivity. Others believe that they die due to the stress of being taken from the wild. These mammals live a very quiet life in the misty mountain forests of Africa. All the noises and changes to their life in captivity must be too much for them to process. Because they are endangered and because the past attempts went so badly, there haven't been any efforts since. The manta ray is one of the ocean's most graceful giants. Their wingspans can reach up to 7 meters across. These intelligent creatures are known for their elegant swimming and curious nature. But despite their gentle demeanor, keeping manta rays in captivity has proven to be nearly impossible. In 2007, the Okinawa Churami Aquarium in Japan attempted breeding manta rays in captivity. They managed to keep several individuals alive, but the rays displayed constant signs of stress and abnormal behavior. The main issue is that manta rays need enormous amounts of space to swim properly. In the wild, they travel hundreds of miles, filtering plankton from the water. Even the largest aquarium tanks are far too small to accommodate their natural behaviors. Furthermore, their diet of microscopic plankton is incredibly difficult to replicate in captivity. Most manta rays kept in aquariums have shown stunted growth and shortened lifespans. Some have even died from colliding with tank walls. They simply don't understand the concept of barriers in their swimming path. Conservation experts widely agree that manta rays belong in the open ocean where they can thrive. Leopard seals are some of the most mysterious and unnerving predators in our oceans. The vast majority of people will never get to see one in the flesh. Some leopard seals have been kept in aquariums and zoos in the past. This is usually the result of injured animals being found and rehabilitated. Back in 2007, a leopard seal named Casey called Taronga's zoo home. This was after he was found washed up on a beach with a shark bite wound. He lived at the zoo until 2014, when they were forced to put him down following a prolonged illness. This shows us that it's possible to keep a leopard seal alive for a long period of time in captivity. But it's cruel, and unless the animal is unable to survive in the wild, it should never happen. Just like orcas, they are extremely intelligent. They have very specific dietary needs that can't be replicated in captivity. The extreme difficulty in keeping these animals happy and healthy is one of the main reasons why you won't see them in zoos and aquariums. But another very serious reason is their behavior. They are known for being playful, but also have an aggressive and unpredictable nature. This means that not only is it cruel for the seal, but it's also dangerous for the keepers. Narwhals are among the most recognizable Arctic whales. Their giant tusks are matched by no other cetacean. Belugas can be kept in captivity and are relatively easy to train. But the same can't be said for the narwhal. Back in 1969, the New York Aquarium tried to keep a young narwhal in a pool. This was after the narwhal's mother was killed by hunters. Unfortunately, it died after less than a month in captivity. A year later, Vancouver Aquarium became the second aquarium to attempt to keep these cetaceans. One male named Carl Lugg was joined by 2 females and 3 calves. At first, there was a lot of excitement, as it gave people the opportunity to see an animal that most people never will. But it wasn't long until it all started going wrong. In less than a month, all 3 calves died. By the end of the year, all of the aquarium's narwhals were dead. These tragic deaths were completely avoidable. There were demands from experts to release them back into the Arctic, but the aquarium director refused to set them free. It's completely impossible to replicate the fresh, clean water of the Arctic in captivity. The narwhal's iconic tusks are filled with millions of nerve endings. These help them to detect changes in water temperature, pressure, and particle gradients. This means that the warmer, dirtier water of an aquarium would stress them out. They are known for being extremely sensitive animals. The Philippine eagle is one of the rarest and most magnificent birds of prey on the planet. With a wingspan of over 2 meters, these eagles are apex predators in their rainforest homes. There are fewer than 400 Philippine eagles left in the wild, making them critically endangered. You might think that captive breeding would be the answer to saving this species. But these birds have proven incredibly difficult to keep alive in captivity. The Philippine Eagle Center has had some limited success with breeding programs, but the mortality rate is extremely high, and the birds often refuse to breed naturally. In captivity, these eagles become stressed and depressed. They often develop behavioral problems like feather plucking and aggression. The main issue is that Philippine eagles require enormous territories in the wild. Sometimes they cover over 100 square kilometers. They are solitary hunters that spend their days soaring through dense rainforest canopy. This complex hunting behavior simply cannot be replicated in an aviary, no matter how large. Several zoos around the world have attempted to keep these majestic birds, but most individuals have died within a few years from stress-related illnesses. Most conservationists now agree that protecting their remaining rainforest habitat is far more important. The leatherback sea turtle is the largest living turtle in the world. Some sources claim that they are capable of reaching a maximum weight of around 500 kilograms. They can measure up to 2.7 meters in length. In the wild, they live a life that's different to all other turtle species. They are capable of diving to great depths in search of food. Even though it's not completely impossible to keep these giants in aquariums, they don't do well in captivity. They're unable to reach maturity in an aquarium setting. Like the great white, these animals are constantly on the move in the wild. In captivity, they always bump into walls and injure themselves. Young leatherbacks are sometimes kept in research facilities for the start of their lives before being released into the wild. But it's pretty much impossible to keep a fully grown adult in captivity. Back in 2015, an injured leatherback was found off the coast of South Carolina. They found that the turtle, which they named Yortie, had been eating plastic. It had mistaken the plastic for jellyfish. But thankfully, after a quick rehabilitation period, he was released back into the wild where he belongs. The indri is one of the largest species of lemur. They reach weights of up to 15 kilograms. These primates are known for their haunting calls, which can be heard up to 4 kilometers away. Because the indri is in peril, with only 1,000 to 10,000 remaining in the wild, it would be great if a captive breeding population could be established. Unfortunately, this has proven to be an impossible task. Most individuals don't last longer than a year in captivity. In the wild, they are found in small family groups. They often jump from tree to tree at great height. It's impossible to recreate their habitat and lifestyle in captivity. Their highly specialized diet is almost impossible to recreate outside of Madagascar. Thankfully, they have thrived and even bred in semi-captivity across their native range. Hopefully, this will help them to grow in number and return to their former strength. Finally, we have the pelagic stingray, one of the ocean's most elusive creatures. Unlike other stingrays that live near the seafloor, pelagic stingrays spend their entire lives swimming in the open ocean. Sometimes they dive to depths of over 100 meters. These rays are incredibly rare in captivity. Only a handful of attempts have ever been made to keep them. The main problem is that pelagic stingrays are built for endless swimming in vast ocean spaces. They have unique physiology that allows them to regulate their body temperature in cold, deep water. This is impossible to replicate in an aquarium setting. In the few cases where they've been kept temporarily, they've shown extreme stress and refuse to eat. Their diet consists of small fish and squid that they catch while swimming constantly through the water column. Without the ability to hunt naturally and swim freely for miles, these rays quickly deteriorate in captivity. Most marine biologists agree that attempting to keep pelagic stingrays in aquariums serves no conservation purpose. It only causes suffering to these remarkable creatures. There are plenty of other animals that could have featured in this video, so if you have any suggestions, then feel free to let me know in the comments below. But for now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.